Why do you think people's wants keep changing over time? How does this affect production in an economy? Why cannot all our wants be satisfied? Human wants change over time because they are inherently unlimited and dynamic, often involving a desire to improve one's lifestyle or upgrade possessions. For example, a person's circumstances or desires evolve. They may want to upgrade from a bicycle to a motorbike and eventually to a car. This constant change in wants affects production in the following ways: determining what to produce. Producers must constantly analyze market trends, consumer preferences, and purchasing power to decide which goods and services to create. Resource allocation. To avoid wasting limited resources, enterprises study what consumers currently like before deciding what to make. Driving innovation. In market oriented systems, changing wants and competition encourage producers to innovate and offer better quality products to meet new demands. Ultimately, all our wants cannot be satisfied due to the fundamental problem of scarcity. While human wants are infinite, the resources required to satisfy them, such as land, labor, capital, and technology, are limited in quantity. Because these resources are finite and have alternative uses, individuals and nations must make choices and prioritize certain wants over others. Human wants are unlimited and keep changing. How do you think this constant desire for more creates pressure on the environment? Can the fulfillment of wants and extraction of resources be balanced? The constant desire for more, driven by unlimited and changing human wants, creates significant pressure on the environment because satisfying these wants requires the extraction and use of limited natural resources. Pressure on the environment. The desire for more creates environmental pressure in several ways. Increased resource extraction. Human wants, such as the desire to upgrade from a bicycle to a motorbike or car, requires resources like steel, coal, and water. As wants grow, the demand for these limited resources increases, leading to more intensive extraction from the environment. Prioritizing short-term gains. A common economic conflict, the trade-off between short-term economic gains and long-term sustainability. For example, a farmer might choose to grow water-intensive crops like sugarcane because they yield high profits. However, this decision comes at an environmental cost, such as the depletion of water levels and the degradation of soil health. Wasteful use of scarcity. Because resources are limited but have alternative uses like steel being used for medical equipment, refrigerators or aircrafts, any wasteful or inefficient use of these resources further depletes the environment without maximizing human well-being. Balancing fulfillment and extraction. A perfect balance is difficult due to the fundamental problem of scarcity. Societies can better manage this tension through the following strategies. Choosing sustainable alternatives. Producers and governments can prioritize options that promote long-term health over immediate profit. An example provided is choosing to grow millets and pulses, which saves water, improves soil health, and promotes sustainable agriculture, even if it means foregoing the high profit of sugarcane. Resource efficiency and avoiding wastage. Economics is the study of optimizing the use of limited resources. Tools like the production possibility curve (PPC) help identify the maximum output that can be produced through efficient use of resources by avoiding wastage. By producing efficiently, we can satisfy more wants with fewer extracted resources. Data-driven decision making. Good decisions rely on data and analysis, not guesswork. Governments use reports like the economic survey to review performance in sectors like agriculture and industry, identifying future challenges and opportunities to improve growth and development sustainability. Analyzing opportunity costs. By understanding opportunity cost, the value of what is given up when a choice is made, economic entities can account for the environmental gains like saved water they might be sacrificing when choosing a high extraction path. Ultimately, balancing these forces requires making deliberate choices about what to produce and how to produce it, ensuring that limited resources are used well and not wasted. Can you think of a resource in your region that is scarce but used wastefully? How could it be managed better? A primary example of a resource that is often scarce but used wastefully is water. In many regions, this vital resource is limited, yet it is often allocated to uses that do not prioritize long-term sustainability. The wasteful use of water, for an example in agriculture, farmers often face a choice between water-intensive crops. Growing crops like sugarcane and paddy can be high profit and support major industries. However, this choice often leads to the depletion of scarce water levels. Wastage of scarcity. When limited water is used for these intensive crops, the areas in which it is done which is naturally not abundant, the gains of saved water and improved soil health are sacrificed. How could it be managed better? Drawing on economic principles, this resource could be managed more effectively through the following strategies. Prioritizing sustainable alternatives. Instead of water-intensive crops, producers could shift towards drought-resistant crops like millets and pulses. This changes saved water, improved soil health, and promotes sustainable agriculture. Applying opportunity cost to decisions. Decision makers should explicitly account for the opportunity cost of their choices. For example, a farmer or government should recognize that the real cost of high profit sugarcane is the foregone environmental benefit of saved water and soil health. Data-driven production choices. Rather than relying on guesswork, choices about what to produce should be based on systematic data regarding soil conditions and rainfall. Governments can assist by providing analysis through reports like economic survey to identify future challenges and opportunities for sustainable growth. Improving efficiency to avoid wastage. By using tools like the production possibility curve, entities can identify the most efficient combinations of production that achieve the maximum possible output while avoiding the wastage of scarce resources. Government regulation in a mixed economy. In a mixed system like India, the government can play a role in regulating resources use to ensure that limited resources are used well and not wasted, often through welfare programs or incentives for sustainable practices. Which economic system, market, planned or mixed, do you think gives people the most freedom? Which economic system is best suited for promoting innovation and why? The market economy is generally considered the system that provides the most freedom and is best suited for promoting innovation due to its emphasis on private ownership and competition. Economic system with the most freedom. The market economy gives individuals the most freedom because the ownership of resources such as land, shops and factories rests with individuals and private companies rather than a central authority. In this system, minimal government intervention, the government acts as a referee, ensuring law and order and safety without controlling production prices. Individual choice. Decisions regarding what, how and for whom to produce are driven by the forces of demand and supply, allowing people to make choices based on their own needs and preferences. Contrast with planned economies. In a planned economy, freedom is restricted because a central authority makes all major decisions and enterprises must follow government targets rather than market demand. Economic system best suited for innovation. The market economy and the market-driven side of a mixed economy is best suited for promoting innovation primarily because of competition. Motivation to improve. When many producers offer similar products, they are motivated to innovate to gain an advantage. This competition encourages them to provide better quality and lower prices to attract consumers. Responsiveness to demand. Because producers must serve customer tastes to be successful, they are constantly looking for new ways to meet changing human wants. Lack of innovation in planned systems. In a planned economy, there is little motivation to innovate because the government restricts the number of enterprises that can operate. Without competition or the need to meet market demand, there is no pressure to improve quality or create new technologies. Critically examine why pure economic systems rarely exist in reality. Assess the limitations of such systems and justify why mixed economy is often considered a more practical and effective approach in real-world contexts. Pure economic systems, whether entirely planned or entirely market-driven, rarely exist in reality because both models possess inherent limitations that prevent them from independently meeting all the complex needs of a modern society. Consequently, most nations have adopted a mixed economy as a more practical and effective framework for resource allocation and management. Limitations of pure economic systems. Several critical drawbacks to maintaining a pure version of these systems. Limitations of a pure planned economy. In this system, a central authority makes all major decisions, often ignoring market demand in favor of government targets. This results in restricted competition, as strict permits and licenses prevent new enterprises from entering the market. Consequently, there is little motivation to improve quality or innovate, which can lead to economic stagnation. Limitations of a pure market economy. While market economies promote innovation and efficiency through competition, they often struggle to provide public goods. Services like roads, police, street lights, and basic education that must be available to everyone without exclusion. Additionally, without a referee to ensure fair play, the system may lack the necessary oversight for consumer protection and transparency. Why pure systems are rare? In reality, even economies famously known for their market orientation, such as the United States or Singapore, maintain significant government involvement. A purely market-driven system would lack the infrastructure and safety regulations provided by the state, while a purely planned system would lack the dynamic innovation driven by private enterprises. Therefore, almost all global economies have gravitated towards a middle ground to offset these specific weaknesses. Justification for the mixed economy approach. A mixed economy is considered more effective in real-world contexts because it combines the strength of both systems while mitigating their flaws. Its practical advantages include coexistence and competition. It allows the private sector and the government to coexist, enabling profit-making businesses to drive innovation while public sector companies address essential social needs. Balanced regulation. The government acts as a regulator to ensure fair competition rules, consumer protection, and transparency, preventing the potential excesses of an unregulated market. Provision of public goods and welfare. This system ensures the delivery of public goods and the management of welfare programs, which are vital for the general well-being of the population but may not be profitable for private enterprises to provide. Adaptability. Mixed economies can evolve in response to crisis. For example, India shifted from a state-led approach to a more market-oriented system following the 1991 reforms, reducing excessive regulation to encourage growth while still maintaining the government's role in long-term development. Ultimately, the mixed economy is the most practical model because it recognizes that While the market is excellent at driving efficiency, the government is essential for ensuring social welfare, stability, and fairness. How does understanding opportunity cost improve the quality of economic decision making? Understanding opportunity cost improves the quality of economic decision making by providing framework to evaluate the true cost of choice beyond its immediate price or effort. Since resources such as land, labor, capital, and technology are limited and have alternative uses, every decision to use them in one way means foregoing another valuable option. The following points explain how this concept enhances decision making across different levels. Moves decisions beyond guesswork. High quality economic decisions rely on data and analysis rather than intuition. By identifying and studying the associated opportunity costs of various alternatives, economists and decision makers can better understand potential risks and outcomes. Identifies critical trade-offs. Opportunity cost forces individuals and entities to acknowledge what is being sacrificed. For example, a farmer deciding to grow water-intensive sugarcane for high profits must recognize that the opportunity cost is the foregone benefit of saved water and improved soil health that would have come from growing drought-resistant millets. This awareness allows for a more balanced choice between short-term economic gains and long-term sustainability. Optimizes resource allocation. Tools like the production possibility curve (PPC) help visualize these trade-offs, showing the specific amount of one good that must be sacrificed to produce more of another. This helps enterprises and governments plan better to achieve the maximum output through the efficient use of resources while avoiding wastage. Guides individual and public welfare. Families use this understanding to prioritize essential items like food and medicine over non-essential ones like luxury items or entertainment based on their limited income. Governments use this to determine it funds should be allocated to healthcare and education versus defense and space exploration, ensuring that tax revenue is spent in a way that is best suited for overall well-being of society. Informs production techniques. Producers use opportunity cost to decide how to produce, weighing whether to use labor-intensive or capital-intensive methods. They analyze the relative costs and available technology to ensure that limited factors of production are used in the most efficient manner possible. Ultimately, understanding opportunity cost ensures that limited resources are used well and not wasted by making the consequences of every choice explicit.